There's something being concocted in the dens of power, far beyond the public eye, and it doesn't bode well for the future of this country. Anytime you have an entire nation so mesmerized by political theater and by public spectacle that they're oblivious to all else, you better beware. If you still believe your vote counts, and that choosing sides is moral in a system set up to control you from day one, the system has successfully manipulated and indoctrinated you. Max Slavo, a survivor of 1990s Bosnia, wrote, "This is going to be a tough red pill for people to swallow. The fact is, it doesn't matter who you vote for. If your vote actually mattered, it would have already been made illegal. While we argue which political puppet is less evil than the other, they wreak havoc on us and destroy everything in their path for power, for fame, and for wealth. The task of any control system is to maintain the facade of political choice, and central to that is the people's right to vote. On some visceral level, we all understand this. So, why is it so easy to divide people into political groups so that a small handful of other people can rule over them? Propaganda. The illusion of choice. It keeps people stuck believing that they're free to decide, when it really doesn't matter much anyway. You don't get to vote for the people behind the scenes that are making all the decisions anyway, only for the face that will be attached to those decisions. Voting provides a corrupt system with legitimacy, regardless of who you vote for. It implies that you consent to the outcome because you participated, even if you wanted the other guy to win. Controlling a population by dividing people into political parties is nothing new, but the desire to break free from them and the ruling class in general is. Nothing more than an illusion of choice, voting is akin to a slave putting a piece of paper in a box that asks the master to be a little less enslaved. This also holds true for protests and demonstrations. Protesters, whether they understand it or not, are doing nothing more than asking their masters for a little less enslavement. It doesn't work that way. Once you understand the difference between right and wrong, you'll understand that voting for the lesser of two evils is still voting for evil. To some degree, all politicians think that they own you. This is satanic. Anyone that thinks they own another human being is evil. In April of 2017, Slavo wrote, "Trump bent immediately to the will of the deep state, like a twig in the wind. It's time to be honest about that. The people never had a champion in the ring. Let's talk no more of democracy or of voting." Of course, this is hard to accept and acknowledge, because it's so devastating to the delusions that hold individuals together from day to day. Most Americans have become numb to the actions of the government and the lives it destroys and the lies that it's working for. The candidates and the creatures of the deep state that have willingly lied and deceived the people while looking him in the eye and pretending to have good intentions are recklessly and wantonly jeopardizing the world. If you're really being honest with yourself, you would know by now that you don't need a ruler. You don't need a master or an authoritarian to make decisions for you. It's time that we begin to own ourselves and reject the power-hungry politicians' will to rule over us all. People seem to be getting increasingly angry at those that are trying to wake them up and free them from the mental chains that they put on themselves. I see this as a sign that the system's propaganda has worked, but only on those that are easy to control. For Headlines with a Voice, this is Nancy Morgan Hart.